I was 4.5 and I was left on a neighbor's front door with my 1.5-year-old sister, a pillow and a suitcase. And my mother, right as she drove away, said, "Do not leave until someone finds you."
Casing the place, looking for safes that ain't made of lead. I'm running from dreams, I knew she left but she's in my head. She stole on my head, super and left me with ego instead. Roaming the halls, chemical imbalance involved them all.
It took 3 hours for my father to find me. It's taken me 50 years to try and get beyond that. I was in a country called Indonesia, and we were the Dutch white oppressing force there. And I lived there till I was 7 years of age, beat up from time to time because I was white. And when Sukarno came into power in 1958, he kicked all the white people out. And I was the white people, even though that was home to me. So we all left by the thousands back to this little tiny country, Holland. And we weren't welcomed there either because I was darker skinned. I was the peanut nigger. They actually used that word on me and had no idea what that meant. What I was told was that I was not blue-eyed, blonde-haired, white-skinned. I was darker, and the color just didn't suit a Dutch kid. And I, came to this country when I was 11, and I couldn't figure out why the white people were picking on the black people. I was too little. And then I asked my father one day, and my father said, "Remember what happened to you when you were in Indonesia and when you were in Holland?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "That's what people do to one another. It's based in fear. And sometimes people put other people down so that they can feel better about themselves." As a matter of fact, now in photography, I see the same thing. There is no right or wrong way. It's your way, it's my way. And for us to judge one another by these differences of how we do things and how we try to attain this thing called success, I think it's wrong. I know that people talk about shoot and burn and how horrific that is, especially to the people that have been doing this for a while, like me. And that said, I wonder if I were in that newbie's shoes today and doing a shoot and burn because I'm trying to put food on the table, would I be doing that? And probably I would. And yes, I'm always mindful of not trying to undermine this industry, but I don't think the newbie's actively trying to undermine the industry. I think they're just trying to put food on the table for the most part. That's the one thing that I've learned from this, is that this judgment is so easily thrown out there. But unless you're able to walk in the shoes of these people that you're judging, don't judge. So all these experiences that I've had growing up as a kid, having grown up with a very abusive stepmother, being white, being not white, whatever, I kind of left at the age of 17 and I signed up for Vietnam. When I came back out of the Army in 1971, I was 20 years old and had no way of dealing with things and used cocaine. It wasn't until 1981, I was 30, when I stopped all drugs. I had been awake for 4 days. I looked down at the mirror where I was cutting the cocaine and I didn't recognize who I was looking at. I thought someone was standing behind me and I looked over my shoulder and it was me that I was looking at. And crying, weeping, I picked everything up and put it in a trash bag and a hammer and I smashed it to pieces. Haven't looked at it since. The day that I looked down in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself using cocaine, I sometimes find, myself included, people doing that today in the photography world, is that they're looking at themselves, but what they're recognizing is somebody else, and that's where they're pointing the finger. It's always out there. It's you. It's not me. So it's easy to push it onto the newbie or the old geezer. It's easy to push it out onto those people rather than here. You're only responsible for this, and what are you going to do to make a difference? And how are you going to approach what you're doing by virtue of who you are, not who they are. They don't dictate anything to you. You do that. And if you really truly want to see who you are, pick up your most favorite photographs that you have, that you've taken. Lock yourself in the bedroom, bring a glass of wine, turn on a little music, and earnestly study those images, and lo and behold, I think you'll find a little piece of yourself in those images. And that's, I think, once you get an idea of who you are as a person / photographer, you start to develop that style inherently because of that. It's no longer focusing on others and what they're doing to you. It's now what you're going to do for yourself.